All right, welcome to Rapid Fire Manufacturing. Today I have Paul Van Metre. He's the driving force behind ProShop ERP. It's an all-in-one software solution for machine shops. He's got a background as a machine shop owner, so Paul truly understands the challenges that shops face. He built ProShop to streamline operations and make life easier for manufacturers. So if there's anyone who knows about running a machine shop, it's Paul. Paul, thank you so much for jumping on today.
David, it's really nice to be here. Yeah, I know we've been trying to schedule it for a while, so sorry it's taken that long, but yeah, it's great to be here. And I just want to make one correction first. You say me, it was we. ProShop is 100% a team effort. I have partners. We have an amazing team. We had a great team at ProCNC, the machine shop. So it is definitely not my baby. It is a collective baby of everyone that put their hard work and effort into it. But it is a fun product. Love being in this space. Love machine shops. They're the foundation of the economy. Nothing in the world would exist without Machinists. I rep my Thank a Machinist shirt almost every single day. So yeah, it's great to be here and talk about shops.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you have a wonderful team. You guys are doing amazing things. And I started using the hashtag, so I will continue with that.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
So first thing I want to talk about is the origin story of ProShop ERP. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it brief because I know we're limited on time. So yeah, my partners and we started our machine shop right out of college in 1997. We quickly just started building spreadsheets to organize everything, our jobs, our schedule, our tool lists, our inspections. And pretty quickly, we started to outgrow those spreadsheets. So when we went out on the market to find some machine shop management software, we were quite honestly excited to see what they had to offer us. But once we started getting demos and they kept saying, no, we don't do this, we don't do that. We do these things, we do inventory, we do, purchasing, but we don't really get onto the shop floor. That's just all going to be paper. We were like, what in the heck? That's the core heartbeat of, the operations of a machine shop. Our spreadsheets were already more advanced than many of the things they were offering. So we just decided to, find a developer and replace our spreadsheets with real, browser-based software. And that was in 2000. We got connected up with Matt, who's one of the co-founders of ProShop today. And we just started building software from literally the shop floor out, talking to our machinists every day. What do you need to do your jobs well? Talking to the estimators, the inspection people, the people in shipping, receiving, the quality inspectors, and just very organically built it over many years.
That's awesome. So you're using live feedback from the machinists, and instead of just creating it like, hey, this would be nice. No, this is what they actually need.
Yeah. Matt would, he would come on site every couple weeks, be out there on the shop floor, sitting next to people, watching them do their work, talking to them, hey, what do you need to make your job easier? Well, I could really use a report that shows this, or I could use a button that shows me this thing, or a page that does this. And he'd disappear for a few days and he'd come back and he'd be like, all right, I got it. What do you think? And we'd play with it and test it and iterate on it. And yeah, it was super organic. Like I said, like everyone in the company had input into how their job would be easier with ProShop, and that's what we built.
That's awesome. And you showed me a little bit before too, so it's very intuitive and easy to use. And I think that's it reminds me of one of the software companies that QuickBooks. It's easy to use. You get more adoption because of that, and people like having things that are easy to use and make their job a lot easier. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and one of the key parts of it that I think differentiates the way we approach it and then the others is two main things. We have just a really deep level of functionality in areas that most classic ERP systems just don't ever get involved with, right? They don't have integrated inspection. They don't have machine tool or cutting tool lists. They don't have equipment calibration and, good scheduling. They don't have a lot of the things that are just absolutely essential, like the heartbeat of a shop that's trying to get jobs out the door every day. If they can't find the job traveler or it gets lost, that's a huge problem. So we, combined all these things to get rid of those paper travelers, to make it all digital, all real time, all sort of a connected system. And that's the other sort of main thing, since it's all browser based, always has been, just through hyperlinks, you can connect to almost any part of the system. So if it's like, here's my list of end mills that I need to set up this job, you can click right into those end mill in the tool module and see, all right, how many do I have on the shelf? How many do I need upcoming in the next couple of weeks? What vendor do I buy them from? What's the cut length? Which fixture do I need? Where on the shelf do I go find that fixture? What's the work instruction? Show me a video of how this goes. And machine shops are such a knowledge-intensive business that if we can take that out of the heads of people and stick it into a systematized process that everyone can access. We've had clients tell us they've had the ability now to take what used to be a journeyman level machinist that they cannot find and hire anymore to someone that has much less experience and skills, still be successfully setting up and running jobs because it's all documented right there and it's all interconnected. And that's pretty critical.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And what stood out to me too is, so not only do you have the inventory, but it tells you the location of the parts as well.
Oh, absolutely. The finished goods, the raw materials, the cutting tools, the fixturing, anything you need to find certainly will have a location. Yeah, and how many and when you need them and how many you need to build in the next 6 months and all those kinds of things. It's just a small portion of it, but a critical portion nonetheless.
Well, I can just imagine too, when I'm looking for pliers or whatever, that takes a lot of time walking around to find stuff. So if you know exactly where it's at, that definitely reduces.
Not only reducing it, like, let me just find it most efficiently, but, you probably go ask any typical shop owner times that they have literally lost something like a fixture. They look for it for hours or days. They can't find it. They decide to make a new one, which may cost thousands of dollars. And then they find the old one as soon as the new one is almost finished, right? I mean, we had a client say that we were talking about going paperless. And at one point they had lost a job traveler, like the year prior. They literally had to sort of like remake the parts because that job traveler had the entire inspection record and the material certs. So they had no traceability anymore of those parts, couldn't deliver them. So had to remake the parts, which of course is incredibly expensive and interruptive to the schedule and their customers' satisfaction, all those things. And then they later found the job traveler on the very top shelf in the bathroom. So someone took the job traveler to the bathroom, stuck it on the shelf, forgot about it, and it's gone. It's just gone. So, and those things happen. Yeah, they blow away. Yeah. They get dropped into the coolant tank. They get, so that's just another element of why we're just huge advocates of going entirely paperless. So you can't lose things. You can't have an old rev drawing that you're accidentally making the wrong parts because you have an old rev that someone stuck in their toolbox or that was in a filing cabinet, but people don't realize that that's not the current revision. So many ways that paper sucks, but just a couple anecdotes there for you.
No, I can imagine the pain after finding that.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
So I want to shift to, so if you could go back to your early days of running a machine shop with the knowledge that you have now and from, building ProShop ERP, what's one unconventional strategy you'd implement that most shops probably wouldn't think of?
Yeah, the one I'm going to use is actually not something that was specifically my idea, although or our idea, but one that we have now seen time and time again, some new customers utilizing, is that even before you buy your very first machine, you should have an ERP system in place. So we've had a number of clients now, some of them very, very vocal, very public about it. They're like, I haven't even opened my doors yet, and ProShop is the first big purchase that I'm making. And because many people believe, like, you should only, buy an ERP once you're 20 people, once you're a bigger company and you need more systems in place. But I think the unconventional but super wise idea around starting with, of course, in this case, ProShop, is that it is the absolute foundation, the backbone of growth, of systems, of processes. And if you try to, do a spinal cord replacement, when you're 3 years old, that's a lot harder than starting with the correct spine in place that you don't need to replace later. And so as you hire people, as you have customers come and do audits, as you're trying to build your quality processes, go for ISO certification or whatever it might be, it is so much easier to do that from the ground up when you have the right system in place. It would be like trying to build a house without a really strong foundation. You know, you don't want to build a house on wooden pier blocks and then later try to go build a nice concrete foundation. You really want that concrete foundation the very first thing.
Yeah, I literally was thinking the same thing as you were saying it. Yeah, going back and trying to excavate and build bricks underneath the house. So having a solid foundation first before you even open the doors at the machine shop.
Yeah. And some people would say that's just far too expensive. It can't afford to, you know, drop 10 grand a year or whatever it might be on an ERP system. But that is small dollars, quite honestly, compared to the efficiencies that you can unlock, the doors you can quite honestly open by, because I've also talked for years about leading with your sales and marketing efforts on your QMS and BMS, you know, your business management system, because customers are going to be more likely to feel confident in giving you work if you can demonstrate without a shadow of a doubt why you will deliver good quality on time parts with good paperwork. And it's because you have the systems in place, not because you're busting your ass 16 hours a day and are going to just try really hard, because every shop owner is going to do that. But the opportunity for success is much greater when you have really solid systems in place versus just doing it out of sheer determination.
No, that's awesome. Paul, thank you so much for joining. For those of you watching, stay tuned for more experts in the industry like Paul.
Thanks, David. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks so much. Yep.